What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and 50 Cent has revealed what he told Drake after the battle with Kendrick Lamar. 50 Cent did an interview with Billboard talking about his insane deal that he landed with the Las Vegas shows, where he's getting $15 million to perform 6 shows in Las Vegas, and they wanted to interview him about that, basically talking about his longevity in hip-hop and his career. While talking about that, he made reference to Drake and how he feels his career coincides a lot with Drake's, because Drake has been at the top dominating for a while, and a lot of people want to see him out of that throne. And the same thing essentially happened to 50 Cent back when he was battling with Kanye West in 2007. And in July of this year, 50 Cent was performing in Toronto and decided to link up with Drake, and there was a lot of videos and photos of them talking to each other. So the Billboard interviewer asked, what was that conversation about? And 50 Cent revealed it in this interview. And throughout the conversation and interview, they basically start the conversation talking about how 50 Cent is still relevant musically and why people still want to see him do shows, because his tour ended up being one of the few hip-hop tours that generated over $100 million. He's actually in the top 5 for the best selling hip-hop tours of all time, and he hasn't released an album in well over 10 years. So the interviewer asks this question: what do you think about having this discography that's been able to transcend generations? For me, I was 10 years old when Give It Your Die Trying came out, and that's the soundtrack to our lives. To now, we got careers, jobs, money to spend. You did $100 million on your world tour last year. 50 responded saying, it's cool. You don't usually have artists that sustain themselves this long in our culture. Hip-hop has a low attention span, and it's out with the old and in with the new repeatedly. There's even been a point they'll create a resistance for you. You have so much consistency, even when there's not a break in the material, they'll ask about your record and say, that's good, but it's not like his first one. And you don't get a second chance at a first impression. That's what the artist community does to the artists that are already in pocket. They want to see you go up, but they want to see you come down, because if you don't, how am I going to have my chance to go up? Drake is in that position right now. They're trying to resist his music because he put out some things that are dope. I say a lot of things on social media and they get upset because they look and go, oh, I'm automatically supposed to be on Kendrick's side because of my association with Dr. Dre. And I love Kendrick, but I'll say it to you. I don't see where what Drake did was whack at any point. They're giving Drake the, oh, you whack, you finished. I'm like, nah, come on. That's the system trying to make some sort of resistance, and it's from the consistency. When you win consecutively, that part of the hip-hop demographic wants you out of there. I started to feel that resistance for the Curtis album. The interviewer then says, I was going to touch on that. With you and Kanye West facing off in 2007, what do you remember about that time? Because it represented 2 different sectors of rap. 50 said this: we made the highest sales week for hip-hop culture. Doing that and being competitive. People that were participating as fans were buying more than one copy of it because of the competitive side of it. When you look at it, we had to stand together to face off, but we never had an issue. That was his break album that broke him in. If I was trying to combat that, I would have went on tour with him. I would have had all of the material with the albums that worked ahead of graduation to draw from while he had that one record. The interviewer then says, that's some art of war shit right there. 50, it represented 2 sides of rap back in 2007, with 50 being the street dude making hit records, and Kanye's representing the high fashion with a different production looking for stadium status. 50 then said, anything that was less aggressive, look at the College Dropout or the themes of his record versus Give It Your Die Trying, The Massacre, and Curtis. Those albums were a lot more aggressive, but they gave him all the trophies. They would rather hip-hop be what he was at that point. He was like, fuck that, Beyonce's supposed to have that. I'm like, yo, they be tweaking, but I don't think anybody's been through more or have more reasons to fall apart than Kanye. The success of his projects comes, and then his mom passes away. So what you have been praying for, the gift is a curse. You lose that, and he had real reasons to fucking be out of it. He did the right thing. He went to work. The interviewer then said, when you linked up with Drake, did you have advice for him as far as his next move? 50 said, I was telling him it's not him. I'm listening to the outskirts. It's not you. Don't let yourself think that for a second. On some real shit, I said, they said you lost. Okay, well, what did you lose? What exactly did he lose if he got 300 something million on his last tour? You don't lose a motherfucking thing, man. If that's the moment, you keep your creative energy in the right place and keep creating. If you slow down because you feel, what the fuck, the resistance will make you feel like your material isn't good. Then you got to figure out how to keep pushing, how to keep creating, because that's what it feels like to you at the moment. That shit was good for hip hop. It made both of them create quality material faster. The interviewer then said, I feel like people cared about lyrics again. 50 said, it's about the lyrics, but that shit was on a different level. The fucking Good Kid, Mad City car in the video, that shit was a mystery. Everything was tied to something. I was like, what the fuck? That wasn't in hip hop before that. Before that battle, I do not remember this was the car from this and this was this. Everything that was part of it was some other shit. It was almost encrypted. The interviewer then said, then they're making some crazy allegations against each other. Do you think you lose once you get on the defensive? I thought Drake lost his footing a little bit there. 50 said this, when you say something that isn't true and the person wants to defend themselves, they encourage the public likes that you're vulnerable because it matters to you that it wasn't true and they jump on you. That's like Meek Mill. When they say Meek is fruity or gay with Puff in the situation now, it's how he responds to it that makes people talk about it more. It gets bigger and bigger, and it turns into one thing going out there. You don't hear one thing about French Montana, and French was in that circle and around a lot of that. Not one thing, and Meek's shit is all over the place. It's like the way they respond to what people say about them publicly, they feel like that bothers you. If you say anything, then they start harping on that harder. They want the fight to continue. And that's it for the interview in terms of 50 talking about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar situation. What do you guys think? In my opinion, I think 50 is wrong in some areas and right in some areas. Yes, basically what 50 said is, listen, people are saying he lost, but Drake is still rich and still generating interest when it comes to his music. And he is, but he isn't impacting like he once was. Just look at the charts. Look at him falling off the Billboard Hot 100 for the first time in years. So that's another example of people showing a lot of resistance. But if Drake continues, I think he'll be perfectly fine. He just got to release one of those hit records that he normally does. I think, though, in my opinion, he should take a break, even though it's bad timing right now because of the Kendrick Lamar beef. A lot of people will think he took a break and that Kendrick destroyed him, and that's the reason why he took a break. But I've always thought Drake should take a break because, we're just constantly hearing him, and we need some artists to take a break in order to miss them. Because once we stop getting this Drake music, some people will realize, oh, damn, I really miss getting this guy's music. Some people are just simply not fans of Drake, and that's okay. Me personally, I think him taking a break would be a way better situation than him continuing because people have just gotten used to hearing him all the time. But that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, if you want to know about the 50 Cent and Kanye West battle, I did do a documentary on it where it goes into intricate details about 50 versus Kanye West, what really happened, and how 50's label was against him and Kanye's wasn't. And there's a lot of backstory around that, but I can see how 50 compares the two situations with Drake and Kendrick and 50 and Kanye because a lot of it, there is similarities, but I think for the most part, 50 had a lot of internal label issues as well, and I don't think Drake has that because he got this huge $400 million deal from Universal. So I don't know, but that's a whole different story that we can deep dive into down the line. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community where we have a great community talking about hip hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.